Hi, my name is Gregory Highnote, and this is Graveyard Undertakings of the Wild and Paranormal. We are here at St. Mary's Star of the Sea Roman Catholic Church and Graveyard. Let's take a look at this graveyard. And so what I know is this graveyard was built in the 1880s by Irish settlers. And as you can see, it's not very big. Let's take a look at these stones. So I heard that there were two churches here. That's the newest church, but right beside it, the old one was torn down in 1953, along with the rest of the graveyard here, which is now a parking lot, as you can see in the background. I'll get to that after we take a look at all these graves. Take a quick look. This one's really old. And then once we get to the parking lot, we can start the paranormal investigation. So from what I understand, there were 600 people buried here, and during the renovation of the new church, the old church was torn down, and so were a bunch of graves in the parking lot. So I guess what was kept was the old part of the cemetery. And see in the distance right here would be the rest of the cemetery, which is now a parking lot, and what lies underneath is over 400 bodies. So we're gonna revisit this place at night to try to get some paranormal origin on tape, and maybe possibly today we can get some too. As you can see, these graves are quite old. They're in the early 1900s. All these graves are. So this is a fairly old cemetery. Here you can see Dornelius Clark died April 29th, 1896 at age 76 years. May his soul rest in peace. Weep not for me, my children. Death, I'm not dead, but sleeping here. That's what it says. Unfortunately, all these people were sleeping here too, but the church got all torn down. Let's go and see if we can get some encounters. Maybe a wildlife encounter or just a paranormal thing. It's very ominous here. As you can see, these ivies are not very maintained. And there looks like there's a preschool back here. This is the new building, and the parking lot over here must have been torn down to accommodate this parking lot. But what I can see that's a difference here is that this parking lot over here, the old part of the church, it's all paved, while this part that was supposed to be part of the cemetery, their bodies just underneath me, is unpaved. So that's the difference that I can see, is that this part, which is supposed to be the old cemetery, is unpaved. Is there anybody here that would like to communicate? Just take a look here. Oh, look at this. That is a grave. That's part of a grave that you can see right on that parking lot. Wow, so it is true. I see another grave just over here. So you could see like the reminiscence of old graves. There's another grave. Wow. So it is true. So we could see a couple torn down graves. These marks right here, where you can see that the earth is kind of like, you know, not in balance, is when graves are built on a certain site. The earth tends to move downward as to where things were buried underneath. As you can see, there's a lot of these patches here. And there's some grass growing. And there's a lot of evidence that there are graves just right here. All these patches of dirt where the grass can't grow anymore, and that's because there's a body buried underneath. Very interesting. As you can see, some of these parts, they can't grow grass here. And that's probably because there's some bodies buried underneath here. So let's just go back in the cemetery here, the graveyard. Anybody would like to communicate, now's a good time. Interesting. Well, I'm just gonna take you through one more time the graveyard. This is all supposed to be graves underneath me. And what I have found is that this part is unpaved, while the old part of the church is paved. And then starts to get paved right around here, right where the old part of the cemetery is. So I am your host, Gregory Hideout, and I will revisit you in just a few episodes. Have a great day.